Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and I'm very rich and I'm very wealthy. Joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister and the co-host of Dorking Out, Margo D. Hello, my friend.
Hello, my friend.
This week we are dorking out about Black Widow. Not that Black Widow. Sorry, Marvel fans. We're hilarious. We are talking about 1987's Black Widow. No superheroes in this one. It is directed by Bob Rafelson. God damn it! Everyone knows I'm going to get it wrong. He directed Head, that Monkeys movie. Five Easy Pieces. The Postman Always Rings Twice. This is written by Ronald. It's Bass, right?
Ron Bass.
He did previous episodes, Sleeping with the Enemy.
And Field of Dreams, I think.
I think he did Field of Dreams. He also did Rain Man, and he did My Best Friend's Wedding, which you did on F This Movie and is one of my favorite episodes of F This Movie ever. It stars Debra Winger, Theresa Russell, Dennis Hopper's in there, Terry O'Quinn from Lost, he's in there. Who else is in there? Diane Ladd is in there. So many good people.
Great people.
So, you'll recognize most of these people. Like, Leo Rossi is in here as a Seattle police detective, and I think he's played a cop in so many movies. I was like, oh, it's that guy. There's a lot of that.
He has been a cop, and he was also one of the rapists in The Accused.
There you go.
Unfortunately, that's what I always remember.
That is
from first.
Very unfortunate for that man.
Yes, very sorry, Mr. Rossi.
I hope he's not out there dating. It'd be really tough for him. Did you see this movie in the theater?
I have no memory of seeing in the movie theater. It might have been something that I rented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I saw this with my mom in the theater.
I had to ask.
Yeah. Because my mom and I saw everything in the theater especially in the late 80s. And if you haven't seen Black Widow, it stars with Debra Winger as an FBI agent who pretty quickly figures out that Theresa Russell is marrying rich guys and murdering them. I'm not spoiling anything, by the way, because it's not a mystery. They tell you, immediately that she's super guilty. What did you think about that? Let's start with that.
Okay. I wish there was a woman in the production office, on the producing side, or the writing, the screenplay side. It's a script that makes no sense. It's so written for men and how they think women talk, and the competitiveness that they see between attractive women.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, they picked very strong women for the leads. Like, yes. Debra Winger is no slouch. Mm-mm. Theresa Russell, no slouch. I mean, these are people that give very committed performances.
Yes.
I mean, Theresa Russell's she was married to Nicholas Rowe. Is that his name? The director. She was married to him for a really long time. She's edgy, and I love them. I think they're great, but I have no idea why Debra Winger can figure out, in a pre-internet age, a woman out there marrying guys, and over the course of a year and a half, she's able to and then how is this her job exactly?
No, it's very confusing. At first I was like, is she FBI or is she a reporter? I couldn't figure it out. And then then they were like, no, she's FBI, but she's a data analyst. And I think she's investigating mob things, but somehow comes across this and puts it together pretty fast that this woman is doing this. And
every guy thinks she's annoying.
Yes.
And her bosses and her coworkers, they all want to fuck her. Let's be clear.
So that was one of the things I wrote in my notes is super interesting because especially her boss, he's it's Terry O'Quinn. He's Locke from Lost to me. I really like Terry O'Quinn. I think he's a really good actor. He plays such a creepy boss in this. But the thing is, I don't think the movie thinks he's creepy, but I think he's creepy. And
now, yes,
yeah, and
because of me too.
Yeah, and he's got like busy hands, like instantly with the like, do you need a neck massage? I'm like, ladies, if dudes offer you neck massages, just fucking run. And dudes, stop offering straight women neck massages. It's creepy. But yeah, and then he's got like the busy hands that keep going down. But I actually like the way she handles it, because it is the way a lot of women handle situations like that, where you kind of graciously remove yourself from the situation and you don't draw attention to it.
Right.
I feel like now, like in our age, you could be like, what the fuck are you doing? Get your hands off me. And you would leave and probably get another job or call a lawyer. This guy.
Yeah.
But back then in the 80s, you wouldn't do that. You would be like, it's almost like part of your job was to let dudes think that they might have a chance to fuck you so that you could do your job.
Kind of leave the door open just enough to let them think maybe, but that it wasn't an absolute possibility.
Yes.
And then you are expected to be, go drinking afterwards with everybody else, but you had to keep your head about you because you didn't want to be taken advantage of or have somebody. It's all these dicey things, and it's just played for like, well, she's in the FBI. That's what she has to do. Let me say Debra Winger, like she hasn't had a decent haircut in a long time. It's very 80s tropes of a woman. No friends, no dating, no cat.
He says to her at one point, like, you need to go out and like,
get laid.
Get laid. He doesn't say get laid, but he's like, you're not a happy person. Like, you need to go out and, when's the last time you went on a date? And I was like, dude, that's not your fucking business.
Yeah, fuck you.
What are you, her dad? It's not your business.
No, but it's also, that's going back to women, like you're not good enough at what you're doing and as being a woman, right?
Right.
And so she's not, so she's obsessed with this case, and let's kind of, so anyway, that's her toxic work environment, which is what a lot of women had to put up with.
By the way, not what the movie's about.
No, but it is like, it's jarring to watch that. But then she's convinced that Theresa Russell's a very interesting character. And I'm like, what is her long game? And boy, is she taking a lot of wild chances here. With her skill set, she should be making a lot more money, and she wouldn't have to even marry all these guys.
I wrote down, I was like, there's easier ways to make money.
If you can memorize Italian coins from the 17th century, boom, on site, and Native American artwork down to the tribe in Seattle, like in this area, like, and she does it just to get men to fall in love with her, marry her, so she could change their will. And then like 2 months later, they die. Eventually you're going to be found out, but this is pre-internet.
Yes.
So she just gets wigs. And so she's a redhead in Dallas with Dennis Hopper, who looks great.
He does look great. And she is so awesome in this movie, by the way. Like,
she's phenomenal.
Yeah. She plays,
they both are.
Yeah. She plays like 3 different roles in the first half of the movie, because she's changing personas for every dude. And she's actually really fun with the Dennis Hopper character, I thought.
Yeah, he's an oil baron type in Texas.
Yeah.
And they all die from kind of it's Autism syndrome, some kind of heart attack. Yeah, that happens right away. And Debra Winger's like, well, of course she's poisoning them, and that's how it's happening. And Leo Rossi's like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. And then the guy dies exactly the way she said it was gonna happen. Yeah. And that wasn't good enough for him, because he's a dude and he's not gonna let some woman outsmart him.
Nah, you're crazy.
Bee stings. No, I didn't look that up. You shithead. But then she goes for a guy that's living in Seattle, and then he's very cerebral. So she gets into his world, and then she kills him. And then she goes, and he's a
poor guy.
Loved her, and he seemed so sweet.
Yeah.
And she could have just had him wrapped around her finger. I mean, he was that rich, like. But she wants more money. And there's certain points where she's like, once you're rich, you don't even know what it is. You want more. That's her motive. Basically, that's her motive.
I felt really bad for that husband, actually, because the first two, and by the way, I don't even know if we know how many she's killed, because I don't think the first one was the first one. But the other ones, they all died in their sleep, you know, or at least it looked like they did. That poor coin guy, the museum guy, he died from an allergic reaction to penicillin. That sounds really shitty. That sounds an awful way to go.
It is toothpaste of all things.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's clever. And so she memorizes all these things to woo him. And she looks more mousy there, a little more. And then she goes to Hawaii because there's a hot Israeli. He's a hot dude.
Yeah.
That she's into. So then she lets her hair go really long, and it's like a mullet. It's crimped in the back, and it's all crimped on top.
Yeah.
It's cut way too much at the top, and then it's just a flat cut across at the bottom. Like, I want to, you need waves in there. You need to shear that a little bit and get a little more volume. She looks beautiful.
Of course. Yes.
She's beautiful lady, but she's seducing this guy. So Debra Winger's boss, does he let her go on vacation or take time off?
Dude,
I mean, she's gone forever.
This is another thing I don't understand about the movie. So she is like, this is happening. This woman is doing this, and no one believes her. She moves out of her apartment. She sells all of her furniture and her car. And I'm like, is she on a leave of absence? Is this part of her job? I don't know.
You don't know. And so she just goes to Hawaii, which I'm worried about you now because you're going to Hawaii in a couple of weeks. I don't want you falling for some scam.
I'll be careful.
But so Debra Winger goes to Hawaii to meet Theresa, and everything has to align in a particular way. Yes. And I like the movie in the fact that they don't explain too much. They're just sort of like, I should
make it clear, like we're going through it and like being silly. I actually liked the movie. Like I
loved it.
I was very entertained. I was stoked to see this kind of movie with two really strong women. We get a lot of movies like this that are about men, like guys who go under, FBI agents who go undercover. And I mean, that's what The Departed is. The Departed, fucking Donnie Brasco, all that stuff. That it's nice to see one that's female based.
Yeah, I mean, they're using sex,
yes,
because it's the 80s, but okay. And so she meets this hot guy, Theresa Russell. We don't know her real name. She goes by all these different aliases, but she falls in love with this gorgeous guy in Hawaii who could take her on the best tours, has a great house. And so Debra Winger figures it out, goes to Hawaii to live for a while, which ain't cheap.
No.
And she befriends her by they're first at the pool and they're doing that scuba lesson.
Yeah.
It's so male centered what's going on here. But so all the women are taking a scuba lesson in the pool, and the woman sitting next to Theresa Russell has pleurisy or something. She's like Doc Holliday. She's like coughing.
She's got consumption or whatever. Like I don't want to pair up with Typhoid Mary over here.
I swear to God, like Val Kilmer-esque. This coughing was just like. But so Theresa was like, oh shit. Yeah. And Debra Winger immediately is like, I'll be your buddy. So that's how they become friends. And then of course, because I was a fitness instructor for many years, and you have to keep up your CPR credits. Let me just make this clear. You don't breathe into people.
No,
when you're
that's
training for that.
Not a thing.
Annie, this is not a thing. And nobody has to go through it, but they make a whole thing how they're like, so their whole thing, there's this whole thing that they're attracted to one another. And Debra Winger is attracted to her because she's beautiful and sexy and dangerous and smart. And Theresa Russell is attracted because she can't fool her. She knows that she's on to her, and then so Theresa Russell lends her clothes, lends her hairdresser. She gets a great haircut.
Yeah. She looks beautiful.
Looks great. And then they start being buddies and hanging around, and Debra Winger's chipping away at what's going on, and Theresa Russell is just kind of on her. And Debra Winger hires, this scene always freaks me out, but she hires an Asian man who was in a bunch of movies.
Yes.
And
I'm going to look up his name because
look up his name, because I think he
James Hong. His name is James Hong.
I think he passed away recently. Yeah, he was in a bunch of stuff.
He's been in everything. You'd be like, that guy.
They need the Asian guy. That's usually was him. That was him. Him and Pat Morita. They were like, yes.
Big Trouble in Little China. Big Trouble in Little China. Blade Runner. This is where you know him.
Yes, he's great. And so he plays this sleazy little investigator that Debra Winger pays $600 for, and he doesn't do anything. Mm-hmm. And then you find out that Theresa Russell has not had sex with this man yet that she's interested in. And what she does is she puts him with Debra Winger, and then they hook up. And there's a couple of scenes where like she and Debra Winger are on dates, basically, in Hawaii. Like they're very much a couple.
Yeah, there's a scene where they go scuba diving together, and I actually think that scene is really, really nerve-wracking, where Debra Winger's like tank runs out.
Yeah, mysteriously.
Yeah, of oxygen, and they have to like share oxygen, but and it's just because they know that like who the other one is. They're just not talking about it, so it's this kind of fucked up scene, but it's really scary to think something like that could happen. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it because, like you said, I'm getting ready to go to Maui, so I'm like, bah! But I thought the scene was really well done.
It is. I mean, they lounge afterwards, and my mom used to do that. Spray the bug spray around. Never worked. I always got eaten alive. It was a nice effort. But so Theresa Russell has Debra Winger hook up with the boyfriend. What's his name? Sam Frey. Sam Frey. She has him hook up with her, and then they're kind of having a relationship, and then he decides, and then all of a sudden Theresa Russell decides to give him sex, to give her body to him. And there's a very sexy scene where in the pool, and it's the whole Black Widow thing. And then the next day they're getting married. And I mean, she's got the dress, she's got the veil. Yeah. It's set up.
She's really good at that.
And Debra Winger gives her a present. And it's a Black Widow jewelry because this movie hits you over the head. Yeah. There's no surprises. Like it's just
she mates and then she kills. But does she love?
And then then she kisses Debra Winger really hard. I mean, but I love all this stuff because you didn't get this in movies back then. Women weren't allowed to be anything even close to this interesting. And then it kind of falls apart, I think.
Yes.
Because so Theresa Russell, what happens is that this husband dies. And what was going to happen is that her husband said his fortune was going to be left to the American Cancer Society. She wasn't going to get a penny. She had her own money. So that's why he trusted her. But then there's this codicil that, he made this will in the last few months that it was in Florida. So if you have any problems with it, you could say something. And the American Cancer Association guys like, but you don't have a problem, right? This is totally cool. I flew here for no reason, right? And she's like, they've had a lot of problems with your organization.
Yeah, he decided he really likes cancer. Yes. He doesn't want to fight it.
You didn't fix it yet, so we're not giving you any more money.
That's right. How come you didn't cure cancer? You're not even close. Forget it. And then Debra Winger, then the very chilling scene is Theresa Russell goes back to the sleazy private detective. Oh, that scene's so messed up.
Oh, it's so messed up. She's like, you got 5 seconds. He's a heroin addict.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'll either blow your head off or you can overdose. Like, which way is it going to go?
So bad. Oh, that scene is so shitty.
She's evil. And so he overdoses, and they find Debra Winger's pictures of her making out with Sam because that's the way Theresa Russell rolls, and she was setting her up. So Debra Winger is then arrested for his murder.
Yes.
And then she's in jail. And then Theresa Russell stays in Hawaii and comes to visit her in the jail. And,
what could go wrong?
Nice jail. What could possibly... And there's a woman named Sarah, not Sarah, Sarah, Lois Smith. She was one of the friends with one of the former husbands that died.
Yes.
Suddenly. and she didn't think this woman was a murderer. She comes all the way to Hawaii. So Debra Winger and Theresa Russell are having this conversation behind the jail cell, and it's a Hawaiian jail cell. It looks kind of cool. And Debra Winger's in the dress, this plain dress. And then Sarah comes into the room, and Theresa Russell was like, oh, hi, Sarah. Nice to see you.
Oh, what are you doing here?
And then Sam comes in.
Dun, dun, dun.
And then she's like, what? And she's guilty as shit. So they arrest her, and Debra Winger gets out in a great dress, and they're taking her out of the. I think she looks beautiful.
Well,
in this movie.
Yeah, she had her makeup done and everything before she did her perp walk.
Yeah, she had a great perp, anti-perp walk. Because then all of a sudden the reporter's like, hey, you did it. Aren't you clever? Like the day before they're screaming in her face how she was guilty.
Yeah, I think they actually yelled like something about like, what a brilliant plan. Oh, it was a brilliant trap. Congratulations, Miss Barnes. That was a brilliant trap.
It's just so cheesy.
It is.
And she just walks out. And that's that.
It's such a ridiculous thing to like, was there not another way to solve this murder? It's like, well, what we're going to do is we're going to fake Sam's death, and I'm going to get arrested for murder and have my pictures taken and put in the papers and everything. It's like all this stuff. And I'm like, or maybe you could just do a little bit more investigating. You don't have to do all of this, but it's a movie. It's a movie. Exactly. And it was a brilliant trap. Congratulations, Miss Bonds. It was a brilliant trap. With the flash camera.
She's wearing this Hawaiian wrap dress, just kind of sashaying out of there like, thank you. I got to go back to Washington, D.C. and handle the sexual harassment of my colleagues. Wee! And that's the movie. I don't know what to tell you, though. It's super enjoyable. I mean, it's very, very watchable. Theresa Russell is beautiful.
Beautiful.
She's perfect in the part. She's always believable in what she's doing.
She should have been a huge star after this.
I think so, too.
This should have been like her Basic Instinct.
Yeah.
Like, she should have been a huge star. It's really weird to me that she wasn't. I don't know what went wrong there, but she's really, really great in this. And Debra Winger, too. Like, Debra Winger, she's so interesting to me because, I don't know, she always picks like such a strange part. Like, she was offered the Theresa Russell part, and she chose the FBI agent. And I was like, the Theresa Russell role is really showy. Like,
it's juicy.
Yeah. So I'm interested that she would pick that role, but she's Debra Winger.
Yeah. She's
kind of strange. But I like her.
She's a bit of a kook, yeah.
She is a kook.
Yeah.
This is this was after she made Legal Eagles, which is
with Love Touch by Rod Stewart.
Such a
remember that?
Yes.
Remember that?
Remember? I am going to listen to that song right after this now. That movie is not good. I think it's on our list somewhere because what a train wreck. It's just trying so hard to be like a wacky screwball comedy with like these lawyers, and it doesn't work. No. Anyway, I also read that Cher turned down the role that Theresa Russell played, which I'm like, that would have been something.
She wouldn't have been as good though.
No, because we love Cher. Come on, we all love Cher.
We do.
But Cher couldn't, like, Cher is always Cher,
Yeah, even when she's acting.
Yeah, like you need someone who can be a chameleon. Yes. And Cher is not that person, but she's dope at what she does.
Oh, absolutely.
And this movie is streaming. It was for rent, huh? We all rented it. I can't even say it's free. You should watch it, but it is really good. It's super entertaining. It's very watchable. I really, really liked watching it. We're making fun of it, but I really liked it.
I super enjoyed it. I thought it was very fun. It's ludicrous. I mean, it does not make there's no way any of this could possibly really happen. But I don't care.
No.
Like they used to make movies for grown-ups that were like this. They just kind of threw them out there before all these, everything's a Marvel film or it's a universe of this or that. This is just this basic story about an FBI agent. There's like a hint of lesbianism, but
just a smidge.
Just a smidge, which is edgy for the time.
A dollop of lesbian.
a skosh of lesbianism. I mean, it would have been cool if they kind of like teamed up.
Yeah.
If this were done like 10 years later, they probably would have had that element to it.
Yeah. I would watch it.
And I would watch the shit out of it.
I totally would. Do you want to?
I really enjoyed it.
Me too. Do you want to hear about? I did a list of other thrillers that came out in 1987.
Oh yes, please.
Okay. Bedroom Window. Did you see that one? That's with Steve Guttenberg. So 80s.
No, the Goot. No,
the Goot. It was like a Hitchcockian vibe thing.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
That's not what he does.
Street Smart. That's with Christopher Reeve and Morgan Freeman.
No.
I remember liking that movie, actually. The Believers. Martin Sheen. Nope.
No, I'm drawing a blank.
Wow. I'm stumping you. I know you know this one. Angel Heart.
That's Mickey Rourke.
Yeah.
And Lisa Bonet.
Yes.
And she almost got fired from the Cosby Show because Bill Cosby thought it was bad for her image to be in a sexually
guy.
And fuck Cosby.
Fuck Cosby. Can you imagine? How dare you do a movie like Angel Heart that has like nudity and be a grown up because you're a grown up actress who can make your own fucking decisions. We do a wholesome family show. Also, I rape women. Fuck that guy. He's an asshole. We hate him. We hate Bill Cosby. Other thrillers. I think this counts. It was labeled as a thriller. Jaws 4. I think this is the one with Michael Caine.
Is that the one that Richard Jenny did a whole routine about? That Jaws was following around the rain, though the wife.
Yes.
Like the Jaws kills her son and then she leaves and he's like, Richard Jenny's like, she freaks out and goes, I gotta leave. He goes, you just don't have to go in the water. Like that's pretty much solves your problem.
Yeah. Have you thought about moving to Nebraska?
Yeah, no, because she moves to Mexico and the Jaws follows. This is all Richard Jenny, but Jaws follows them from one ocean like to another, basically. And then starts attacking her, and he's like, "It's like I pretty much think like if you people just don't go in the water, you'll be okay."
Yeah, no, we have to go in the water.
It's ridiculous.
That's hilarious. I'm gonna look up that routine because I just watched the first Jaws again, like not for the first time, again on 4th of July, and I was like, I'm gonna make this my new thing. I'm gonna watch Jaws on 4th of July, and then I was thinking it would be fun to revisit all of the Jaws movies. So I will make my way to.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I might regret those choices. I watched Jaws 3 a lot when I was a kid. It was on HBO all the time.
Yeah, same.
I think I might have like a sentimental attachment to Jaws 3. I need to revisit. Anyway, other thrillers. No Way Out.
Is that Kevin Costner?
Yeah.
That's a good movie.
It's a really good movie. I rewatched that one last year. And did we do an episode on that? I don't think we did.
Should.
We should. I think I just watched it for whatever reason. It's good. And Fatal Attraction.
Yes, we've heard of that.
We've heard of that. We did an episode on it. The Principal.
That's Jim Belushi.
Yeah.
As the principal.
Yeah. As the principal.
He rides a motorcycle through the halls of the school.
He's so cool. He's no Crazy Joe. He's no
they call me Batman. That's
okay. Principal Lean on Me double feature coming your way. Okay, a few more. Someone to Watch Over Me.
That was filmed in my neighborhood.
Is it? Is it going to be in your book?
Yes, I was taking pictures of it. 26 Montgomery Place. That's where it was. It's a beautiful movie.
I remember really liking that movie. Was it?
Yeah.
Did you rewatch it recently?
I haven't watched it recently, but I watched it a few years ago, and it's like set in another time.
Yeah.
And it's a thriller. It's Kelly McGillis. Oh, no. It's
Mimi Rogers.
Mimi Rogers and Tom Berenger,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember liking that one. House of Games. That's David.
Who's in that?
David Mamet. Lindsay Krause.
He's in the movie, David Mamet.
Yeah, he plays. He's one of the FBI agents. Yeah, he's a creep too.
Yeah.
No, I mean in the movie, but maybe in real life too. I don't know. And then the last one is Fatal Beauty. Do you remember that one?
Whoopi Goldberg.
Whoopi Goldberg and Sam Elliott.
Whew, okay, I'm getting back some of my juice.
Yeah.
Some of my mojo. Okay. I was losing it for a second. So the movie came out that we're talking about today in February 1987. Do you want to hear the top 10 songs?
Yeah.
This is pop songs, U.S. So there's no hip hop here. Sorry about that. Number 10, Janet Jackson. Let's Wait a While.
I don't want to wait a while, but I do like that song.
It's a great song. This is an awesome song. One hit wonder. Georgia Satellites, Keep Your Hands to Yourself.
I used to love that song so much.
It holds up.
Keep your hands to yourself.
Okay, here's a ballad. I know you love this.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets, You Got It All.
I loved this song. I used to love the Jets too. I've got a crush on you. I was super into the Jets.
Were they Mormon?
I got to tell you, my gut says yes because there's fucking 8 of them.
Yeah. Okay. So number 7, Bruce Willis, Respect Yourself.
Bruce.
No wonder he has a big ego.
Oh
he
my
God.
God.
Do everything.
There was a thing in the 80s where a whole bunch of actors, it's super common now. I feel like the lines are really blurred between singers and actors and movie stars and TV and all this stuff, but it used to not be so blurred. And Bruce Willis was so huge because of Moonlighting. Loved Moonlighting. And he put out this album, and this is how much we all loved Bruce Willis. We pretended that this album was really good and listened to this song.
It's something Bruno.
Yeah, it's like the return of Bruno.
Ay. Okay. Number 6, Peter Gabriel, Big Time. Good song.
I love that song still. And Peter Gabriel. Love him.
He's rad. Bruce Hornsby and the Range, Mandolin Rain. Is there anything more 1987?
So 87.
Oh, yeah. And here's another one. Linda Ronstadt and James Ingram, Somewhere Out There.
Oh, from American Tail.
That's a sweet song.
It is.
Journey, I'll Be All Right Without You. I don't even remember that one.
I vaguely remember that one, but I'm going to put it on my playlist because it feels appropriate.
Bon Jovi, Living on a Prayer.
Yeah, that song is dope. I love that song.
And the number 1 song at this time, this is so 1987, Huey Lewis and the News, Jacob's Ladder.
Oh my God. I haven't heard that song in forever.
And you live in the Bay Area. They play Huey Lewis there. You don't hear Huey Lewis anywhere else.
I love Huey Lewis.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, I don't think he tours anymore. I think something happened to his
hearing.
Yeah, so he doesn't tour anymore, which is a huge bummer because he is one of those people that, because there's all these musicians, all these bands that play like county fair circuits or do like smaller shows here in the Bay Area. And I'm like, I would pay money. Like my big plan like 2 summers ago was to see Rick Springfield. I couldn't wait to see Rick Springfield. My sister and I were so excited for this. Like there's like when we saw Daryl Hall and John Oates, there's just certain people like you're excited to revisit. And Huey Lewis would be one of those people. And so it's kind of a bummer.
And the News.
And the News, sorry. I don't want to dismiss the News. Huey Lewis and the News.
They had a bunch of hits in the mid 80s. Like
they were huge.
They were big star. I mean, there you go.
Did you ever see that movie Duets?
No.
Oh, it's not a great movie, but Huey Lewis is actually really good in it. And I think he's really good in it. And he did like a version of Cruisin' with Gwyneth Paltrow that I actually really like.
See, that's a sentence like for me. I'm like, that makes me, I would go like, I don't like any of that.
Maybe you would like the part where
I like him.
Maybe you'd like the part where Paul Giamatti sings "Hello, It's Me." That part is
Really?
great. Yes.
By Todd Rundgren?
Yes.
I love that song.
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm gonna find it on YouTube and send it to you because
okay, I need to see that.
I think that would be your favorite part of the movie. The rest of it is bananas. Anyway, what else are you dorking out about, Margo, besides Huey Lewis?
So I was really into a podcast. I guess it came out last year. It was about Lolita, and Jamie Loftus is a stand-up comedian. She's also a writer, and she did a real deep dive in all the different versions of Lolita that have been out there.
You got me hooked on that one too.
So good. So her newest one is ACCast.
This was on my list too.
Oh, good. Okay, because I've been listening to it, and it's so great. She's talking. How do you pronounce Kathy?
Guyswhite.
You know how to pronounce Guyswhite.
Yes.
Help each other.
This is a huge moment on the show, everybody.
It's about Kathy Guyswhite. She had a cartoon called Kathy, and it was out in '76, and it ran to like 2010. And it for a while, it was about a single woman who like struggled with weight issues and a lame boyfriend and not getting ahead at work. And there in the 80s, there was a time where there was like Kathy everywhere, like calendars, and people used to take comic strips and rip them out and put them on their bulletin boards, like that made them laugh. And she was a big deal. And then she kind of became known as like, sort of like you say a Kathy and Ack, you're just sort of like, oh, chocolate, Ack.
Yeah.
Like,
Ack, I'm going to eat all this chocolate, even though it's bathing suit season, Ack.
Yeah, she became sort of like considered like the worst for women.
Yeah.
She was retro. And Jamie Loftus is like, is so great because she's bringing her back to the like true context. So she read all of the Kathy's cartoons for decades. And I love it when she's like, Kathy's fucking when she's not with this guy.
She's like, look, you all don't want to admit it, but Kathy fucks.
And I was laughing, and the woman, she seems like such a nice person, the creator, and genuine, and she wanted to be a mom. She became a mom, and she got married, and then because that didn't work out.
Yeah.
And then she became single again. But she ran this big organization. She won an Emmy for one of the Kathy cartoons that came out, and she's so interesting. And I just love how Jamie puts it together. And I like her post-feminist image, lens on things. I love it when like she has that whole clip of different people making disparaging remarks about Kathy.
Yes.
One of them being from Sex and the City, Carrie in Sex and the City. She goes, oh, she's such a Kathy. And I'm like, yes, she was such a Kathy.
I think it's really interesting where she talks about like Kathy was progressive for her time. She wasn't in your face about it. It was just little things. And Kathy didn't always win. And she wasn't preachy. It was little things. And like even just the fact that Kathy existed was a win. They talk about how there were no female there were like no women drawing comics that were in the daily paper. There was like 3 of them at one point, like in the 80s, like hardly any. And it's just so interesting. And she played a clip where she was interviewed on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. And she's like, I was in the makeup chair and you came in and you got like a little pat on your face and like left. Meanwhile, I'd been there for like a half hour, like getting my makeup done. Did you hear this part? So
yeah,
she talks about, if I spend a half hour like getting ready and you only spent a minute, like you've got a half hour head start on your day. You know, and then I spend 20 minutes blow drying my hair and you don't have to blow dry your hair at all. Now we're looking at almost an hour you've got on me, so why can't men find 3 minutes in the day to tell me I'm beautiful and smart or whatever, and I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, Kathy.
Fuck yeah. there's like 3 or 4 episodes out. There's for some reason the second episode she has in part 1 and 2. But I just took it with me. I was traveling around the city, just going on appointments, and she just blows my mind. I just like how she puts things together. I do. And she makes you look at it in a whole different way. The whole thing about that there's like convention every year for cartoonists.
Yes.
And they had like a beauty pageant one year. What was that?
They said they declared it a year of the woman because there was like 3 of them. And they all wore, like, the women wore sashes, like it was like a beauty pageant. And Kathy Geiswhite's like, the intention was like so good, but like the execution is problematic. You know, it's
especially when you look back on it.
Yeah. And who was it? It was Gary Trudeau, the guy who does Doonesbury. Yeah, was like, I'm out of here. Like,
this is bullshit.
He walked out. He was not having it. And I was like, that's awesome. It's so good. You can find it wherever you're listening to your podcast. I love it. I saw a new episode of Lolita popped up, and I was like, what? And I immediately texted you, and I was like, oh my God, there's gonna be a Kathy podcast, because I've been following her on Instagram and really enjoying the Kathy cartoons that she was doing during the pandemic. They're really great. It's a good podcast. I'm glad that you brought that up. I was going to bring that up too.
Yeah, I think she's just wonderful. And I love, like, I like somebody younger than me finding something from my generation and looking at it in a slightly different way. And finding another appreciation for it versus like saying, God, these people in the 80s, weren't they stupid? And
yes,
the things like, she's like, no, this is progressive. This is cool. I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. It was. Why do we let people tell us how to view things?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I like her point of view. And this time with Lolita, my one criticism was like, she got her friends to do the voice acting, and some of them were not very good or didn't take it very seriously. Like these were all really good, strong people that she picked. So
even just the first episode where she goes through all of Kathy's stories.
Yes.
Like from beginning to the very last panel, I was like, it was so smart and so well done. Just let's get this out of the way. Here's exactly what happened in the Kathy comic strip from beginning to end, and pointing out things that were awesome and things that were maybe problematic. And I loved it. I listened to all 3 episodes, like boom, 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 like one right after the other while I was working around the house and stuff. They're so good. I can't.
They're so interesting.
So interesting. I really like it. The other thing I was gonna point out, which I'm late to the game on this one, but I just watched the Bo Burnham special on Netflix, and I
haven't seen it yet.
It's great.
I want to.
It's great. It's just there's parts that are so funny and parts that are just so interesting and thoughtful. You know, there's this whole thing about like he filmed it all alone during the pandemic, and I'm like, well, he probably has a girlfriend, and you know, but that's fine, whatever. Like, it's just, I don't know that much about Bo Burnham. To me, I was like, oh, it's the guy who directed 8th Grade, you know, and I knew he was a comedian, but I didn't know any of his stuff before that. And I was like, oh, he's the guy.
8th Grade is.
Oh, it's a movie that came out a couple years ago about a girl who's in the 8th grade and just like how awkward it is. And it's actually really insightful, smart movie about being a young, like a tween. And it's...
Oh, I got to see that.
And it's written and directed by Bo Burnham. And I was like, what? But it's really, really good. And then, you know, and then he's in... shit, what's the movie that just came out last year with the Promising Young Woman? He's in Promising Young Woman.
Oh, okay. I love that movie.
Yeah, as the boyfriend that turns out not to be so nice. Spoiler.
They all aren't. Spoiler.
Yeah, right. Spoiler, none of the men in the movie are good. But his special's really, really great. Like, it is, the songs are really fun, and some of them are sad, but he did film it all by himself, and how he was able to achieve that, like he kind of shows himself like setting things up and then filming the bits. They're really great. I'd recommend it. You should definitely check it out.
It's on my list. It's one of those things. I love comedy specials too, so I'm surprised. I'm surprising myself that I haven't checked that one out. But it's definitely, Netflix sometimes it gets overwhelming,
mm-hmm.
and I see a lot of no when I'm there. No, I'm not watching that. No. Like I get kind of, and I wish something like that would pop up.
Yeah, this one was. The reason it finally came, I was like, I have to watch it now, was multiple people at work were like, why haven't you watched that? And I'm like, because I've been living with my parents. But now I'm not living with my parents anymore. So I can actually watch it, and it was worth it. It's really good. So put it on your list.
Put that in your list.
Put that in your list. It's brilliant. I tell you, it was a brilliant trap.
That was so smart of you people. You lady people. I can't believe it.
You lady people are so smart. You got a quote for me? Margo, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on social media at Brooklyn Fit Chick, and that's also the site of my blog, brooklynfitchick.com.
And if you like the sound of our voices, and I assume you do, because who wouldn't? We also host a podcast called What a Creep, where we talk about creeps of the past, the present, maybe the future. No, not really. And
not really.
We end every episode with someone who's not a creep. We're having so much fun on that show. So please listen. You can find Dorking Out at dorkingoutshow.com. And if you want some stickers, you could email us at dorkingoutshow@gmail.com. They're so cute. They're adorable. Everybody drink. And you can find me at thesoniashow.com and The Sonia Show on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok, where I mainly post videos of my dogs. This was super fun. I'm so glad that we talked about Black Widow, not the Marvel movie, although I'll probably see that eventually too. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant trap, I tell you.